Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about what is love. I'm going to start off by telling you a couple of stories, personal stories from my life, not necessarily involving me, but others. I don't want these to come off as sexist. These are just my personal stories to help illustrate the point that I'll get to at the end. So to start off, I want to introduce you guys to Michael. Okay, this isn't really Michael. This is a representation, a stand-in of Michael. He kind of eats like my friend Michael. So I work with Mike, and every time we work together, we were always asking each other, hey, how are things with you and your girl? Mike has been with his girlfriend for 4 years. And every time I've asked him this, his response is always the same. Things are great. I am so in love with her. And his answer was always that until about 3 weeks ago, when it became something like this. Him and his girlfriend had broken up. And his reactions were, she really hurt me. I'm going to ruin her life. And it really got me to think a lot about that. Contemplated this. And before I continue, I want to go on to the next story. This is James. Okay, again, not really James. This kind of looks like my friend James. Him and I were in a band together. We jammed together. Kind of had the same haircut. And this is Jessica. Okay, again, not really Jessica, just another gorgeous girl. I like my friend Jessica, and I like the thumbs up, so I kept this image. I was friends with James in high school. We got really close. We're bandmates, almost like brothers. I met Jessica in college. We had a writing class together. We became really close, almost like brother and sister. And I introduced them to each other about 2 years ago. And it wasn't long until we had this engagement. It's a beautiful thing, right? People get married, they have an engagement, it's a celebration. Unfortunately, it wasn't long until I started to see that the relationship was more like this. It was really hard to be friends with two people in a relationship when it was a, I want to say verbally abusive relationship, but you see, each of them, like many other people, had been intimate with other people prior to their engagement. James and Jessica had long-lasting relationships with other people and were emotionally attached. The difference is that James couldn't handle the idea that Jessica had been involved with anyone else. So much so that he just tried to beat the sense of shame and guilt and remorse into her that she had felt any happiness for any reason that didn't involve him. And it wasn't long until Jessica finally snapped out of it and they broke up. I was really proud of her to have the courage to do that. And even though it bit me in the middle, it was still a good thing for her to be able to break out of that. Now there's a theme here. When it comes to Miggy, or Michael, when it comes to James, we ask ourselves, did they really love who they claim to love? Miggy really loved his ex-girlfriend? James really loved Jessica? Well, no. I mean, we would say no, because we all want love, right? But do we want to be treated the way that they have treated people that they claim to love? No. We don't want to be treated that way. We don't want anybody to be guilted to us. We don't want anybody to go out of their way to ruin our lives because we don't give them what they want. That isn't love. That looks more like this, right? This ugly bitterness. Look at this. You don't want to look at it, but it's there. That's exactly how I saw what these men were representing themselves to be. When James and I would talk, and he would say, I've lost faith in love. Women can't have a commitment. And I would say, well, what about what you've done to her? It looks like this. So then what is love? Well, we tend to think of love as some kind of romantic thing, but I want to distance myself away from that. I want to say that love is a universal thing. And I also don't want to go into the whole neuropsychology of this. I don't want to say love is just a chemical response in your brain that over years of evolution we've become biologically mechanized to be altruistic towards the people we care about. I want to stay away from that. What I want to say is that love transcends relationships. Love isn't a romantic thing. Romance is something with deep emotions and deep feelings, but you can still love people that you don't want to have sex with. You got friendships. You have the love between a parent and a child, the love between siblings, the love between friends. So I started to think, love isn't this emotion that you're trying to elicit from someone. Love is something beyond that. And we think that the most loving people are the ones who give the most. And so, when you think about love in that aspect, you kind of get Kennedy in mind. So Kennedy once asked, or proclaimed, that you shouldn't ask what your country can do for you, you should ask what you should do for your country, right? And I started thinking about that. This conditionality that people have placed on love. I will love you if you do X, Y, and Z. I will care about you if you do this for me. If you make me feel a certain way. And I thought that was very wrong. When I think of people who claim not to be loved, I think of things like Michael, and I think of things like James. It's people who are very forthright, asking, what can you do for me? So I want you to think about that for a second. And let's turn Kennedy's words around. And let's say love is more, instead of thinking, what can this person do for me? It's more about, what can I do for this person? To me, love then becomes this unconditional willingness to do what's best for someone, even if that means you can't be a part of their life. You don't want to go out of your way to ruin their life. You want to go out of your way to enhance it. Because if you don't do that, it's just like this. Thank you.